So here we are, Daryl. We're concluding the meeting. Everybody has gone back. We're now post meeting to continue the Unsuck process.
Right.
What can we do? First, clarification. You've been a participant and you thought you understood all of the agenda items. You didn't have a question. You went back to your office. You realized that you didn't write down the thing that you were supposed to do. Send an email, quick call, quick text. Let's get some clarification on what I was supposed to do, or if I was supposed to lead something. You have to go back to that, and maybe a recap. If you've facilitated a meeting, all right, this is what everybody's done. Then they don't have to text you. You've already preempted that. You sent out, hey, this is who does what by when. This is what we're doing. Yep. These are the next actions. Boom.
Yep.
All right. So already you've cleared up some of the fog that they left the meeting with.
It's great. It takes 30 seconds to put the email together, solves minutes or hours of problems. Mm-hmm. So that's great. So another thing we can do, and this is a little more abstract, mm-hmm. perhaps, but what we want to do is avoid having meetings about the meeting after the meeting. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's kind of another way to say gossip, really, right. Or chit-chat, or complaining, or whatever we want to call it, but it's when you go and you kind of voice your frustrations to your coworker. Oh my gosh, that was such a stupid meeting, mm-hmm. like what a waste of time. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do from it now. They said this, but then they said this, and you can't do both. Mm-hmm. What's good?
I'm sure nobody out there has any idea what we're talking about, but
yeah,
you've heard about it.
Yeah, from a friend. Speaking for a friend, we don't want to do this. Yeah. Okay, it's not unsucking the meeting. It's actually making the meeting suck worse. Mm-hmm. Okay, you are reminding yourself and actually reliving your sucky meeting mm-hmm. that you don't like.
Yeah, that's double suck.
It's double suck. Okay, let's not do this. Yeah. Let's not do this.
Well, it might even be multiplying the suck because now you're spreading the negative.
Yeah, you've shared it with
maybe nobody else has these frustrations, but you're starting to put all these doubts or frustrations in multiplying it.
Right, absolutely.
Don't do it.
You're talking to someone who wasn't even in the meeting. Mm-hmm. So now that person has experienced a sucky meeting that they weren't even in.
That's true.
Okay, yeah. Like don't inflict this on your friends and
mm-hmm.
your peers and your
mm-hmm.
coworkers. So I'd like to say, so there's 3 things you can do to solve this problem, but the truth is, just don't do it.
Yeah.
Just don't.
That's a good solid one thing.
It's a good solid one thing. Now I can say what to do instead.
Right.
Is to go to the facilitator. Mm-hmm. Okay, kind of like you were saying, the first mm-hmm. step is seek that clarification.
Right.
If you've got frustrations or feedback mm-hmm. or issues with that, then you need to go back to the facilitator. Mm-hmm. But don't have meetings and discussions about the meeting mm-hmm. that aren't focused on product.
Right. That's good. That's a great point.
It's really as simple.
Yeah. So, how about organizing your thoughts and your next steps?
Yeah.
So we're looking at, we've decided we've got clarification, made sure we know what we were doing. What should I do first? What should I do second? What should I do next after that? Having a plan of maybe breaking that into steps. Well, what I wrote down was I've got to plan this outing for the staff. Well, mm-hmm. that takes a bunch of steps. So yeah. I wrote down plan outing, but how do I start? What do I need to do? There's steps. So organize your thoughts and your next actions into a plan.
Yeah. And even the stuff that you get from the meeting, you've got worksheets and papers mm-hmm. from the meeting, that you've collected.
Resources and
yep. Right. So we tend to take it back to our offices and dump it in the tray box on mm-hmm. our desk or whatever, and it sits there for a few weeks or whatever until we throw it in the garbage, right? So get back from me. Take just a few minutes to actually organize this stuff mm-hmm. That you've collected from mm-hmm. the meeting. Take these things, whether it's physical or digital, mm-hmm. and put the stuff where it belongs so that you can act accordingly moving forward.
And I think that's an interesting point. If the over the last couple of proximities, we talked about getting things done. If you have another meeting you have to go to and don't have time right then, you should have a system to take that stuff and place it in an area where you're going to look at it soon.
Right.
In order to make, so if you, for some reason, you can't organize it right then, like make sure you have a system where you know that that's going to be dealt with and organized.
Yeah, exactly. So the last thing to do after the meeting is over is to review the meeting. Now, this isn't the same as the review at the end of the meeting, in the meeting. This is different. This is more of an evaluation, okay? It's worthwhile taking a few minutes to think about the meeting, okay? Especially if you're the facilitator.
Right.
But even if you weren't, just ask yourself some questions about the meeting. What went really well in that meeting? Why was that conversation, so energized, or so creative, or why was it so forced and tense? Like, what caused that? Okay, just think about these things. Like, think about your next actions now and evaluate those. Like, what did I get out of that meeting? Okay, I got these action steps. Is there anything that I could have done differently that would have increased the effectiveness of my engagement in that meeting? Is there anything I could have done? Is there something I did in that meeting that caused some kind of dysfunction? That what could I do to avoid that next time? We've got to think about these things. What's the saying, Andy? It's practice makes improvement. Practice makes perfect, but it's not.
No,
it's experience. Something with experience.
Well, it's not, practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect.
Right. There's that.
And then experience is not the best teacher.
That's what
evaluated experiences.
So you can be in 11 million meetings, okay, and never get better.
Right.
Okay, we need to evaluate our meeting experiences in order to improve them. This evaluation is so important. Now, another important part of this evaluation is getting feedback from others, okay?
So if you're the facilitator, right?
Especially if you're the facilitator, this is so important. Ask the people in the meeting how it went for them, like what they thought about it. Get feedback from those people. I realize feedback is not always fun because sometimes it's critical and negative.
Sometimes it's painful to hear.
Painful, it can be hard, but let me tell you what is harder than getting hard feedback from a meeting. Having sucky meetings for the rest of your life.
Right.
Okay, that's harder.
That was a strong point, because nobody wants that.
Like, isn't it better to take a little bit of the pain right now and improve it to eliminate it in the future? I mean, we do this in the medical world, right? Like, you're willing to get a shot in your arm to fend off the infection rather, I don't want a shot. I'll just let my entire arm get infected and get gangrenous and fall off.
I hate when that happens.
Okay, it's better to get the shot now that hurts a little bit to solve the problem. And we need to do this desperately with our evaluation. Now, I'm not saying every single meeting, I just had a 5-minute meeting with this person. I don't need to send them an email and be like, hey, could you give me some feedback on that? But just consider doing this for your meetings. Right. Consider seeking feedback. Yeah,
one of the great quotes I've heard, it might be Jim Rohn, I should look this up, but there are 2 different pains that you will experience, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret.
Oh, that's great.
And, are we going to continue to get better and be disciplined, which is far better, or are we just going to live a life of sucky meetings?
So good. Yeah, so good. So take the time.
Choose the discipline.
Choose the discipline, even after your meetings are over, to continue unsucking those experiences.
All right. All right, guys. Go unsuck your meetings and let us know how they go.